Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please be seated. Okay, the first item I want to tell everybody, we've got a full room here today, which is an indication that some people would like to speak. We've got two agendas today for the public. The first one is called the at-large, which means that anybody can speak on any topic as long as it's kind of germane to Hood County. And the first 6 people get to speak. It's a 5-minute maximum, and I've already got 4 speakers. So if you want to speak, you must fill out a public participation form, hand it to Sheriff Deeds, and Sheriff Deeds will hand it to Katie Lang, the county clerk. She will put a number on it, assign it, and hand it up here to me. So far, I've got 4 for the public agenda. For the at-large. Now, if you want to speak on an agenda item that's on the Commissioner's Court, again, you must fill out a public participation form, hand it to Sheriff Deeds, and give it to Ms. Lang, who will then mark it and then put it in a folder that I have provided for today. It's gotten so many different requests at different times that we're going to try a new system here to work it out. So having said all of that, today is Tuesday, March 12, 2022. It's 9 a.m. We're in the Century Jury Room of the Ralph Walton Jr. Justice Center at 1200 West Pearl Street in Granbury, Texas. We're very pleased and honored today to have Pastor Lowell Erkenbach with us with Hope Community Church. He's a personal friend of mine. He's a very good pastor and does a lot for this community, and I saw him yesterday at the Hope 22. He's a good man, and he does a great invocation. So Pastor Lowell Erkenbach, please.
Please bow your heads. Father, I just want to thank you first off, Lord, that I have been blessed to be born into a country, Lord, where we are still free to worship you and to praise you, Lord. But I fear, Lord, that these things are slowly being eroded and slowly being taken away from us, Lord. Lord, I ask for vision of these men and women who lead our county and lead our country, Lord. Give them vision and give them understanding, Lord, that all authority flows from you, Lord. Every ounce of authority flows from you. And in Romans 13 it says, to be ministers of good to the people, Lord. And that's where that authority flows from. Lord, I ask you to continually remind our leaders of that they will be ministers of good to the people, Lord. I ask you to bless our county, Lord, and bless our leaders. Raise them up away from the attacks they receive, Lord, that they may clearly focus on you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge of the United States.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to Texas.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Now I'd like to call up here another well-known pastor here in our community. Just as you're sitting down, gives you a lot of exercise. Pastor Mike McMahon, who has started and brought to our community the International Bible Reading. I say international because I call from all over the country now, and this is due to this man right here that has kept it alive for so many years. And he's going to speak to us because it starts very quickly. Pastor McMahon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. 2 weeks from Friday is the day it begins. I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but I suspect if I looked around, there's several of you that don't have your names on the reading list. Just remember, it's a fun time. It's a very special personal time between you and the Lord, because he is there and he is reading with you, and you will feel it if you will allow it. You'll know that you have been there. You'll know that you have been in that place. So please, if you haven't signed up yet, we got spaces, although We're close to 200 that are gone now. We still have about 150 left. So if you all, may I turn my back?
Yes, sure, sure.
You all, please, come on down and join us. It's fun. You'll like it, and you'll make Granbury even more famous, because we are part of the reason that there are more towns and cities in the United States having Bible reading marathons now than there were 20 years ago when we started this. So be a part of something. Praise God. And thank you for allowing me the time.
Right. And because of that, and because of our good friend Jay Riley up here, the Bible reading is at the gazebo. And that Pastor McMahon, when he asked Jay Riley, and I asked him too, if he would spruce up the gazebo, that's always on his deal, and it looks very nice, and that's where the Bible reading is. And we got places out in front where you can come up at your allotted time, park in front, and then read the Bible. It's a very fulfilling place, and I do it every year, or have done it since 2019. Thank you very much. That's a very important deal. Now we also have a lot of good news this morning. We have Todd Kiesel and Isaac Garcia from TAC to present a really big honor here to Hood County. This is the Hood County 2021 Excellence in Safety Award. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours. Please tell the citizens of Hood County how important this safety award is.
Well, good morning, everybody. We're glad to be here, especially on such a happy occasion. The Association of Counties, we have an awards program that particularly is geared towards safety. Although we cover many different realms, we focus on workers' compensation. And Hood County, I've been working with Hood County for a while now. I've been working with Melissa, prior to her with Richard, and with your safety committee, which has been working really, really hard. I can't say how hard they've been working for many years trying to get this award. You all have very good losses, consistently speaking, below 35%, which is well below what our target normally is. So Hood County is doing very well in that aspect. But it's been, since I've been with TAC, approximately 10 years that it's been taking for the county to get this award. This last year, Hood County was able to adopt an accident prevention plan and push their safety committee and the safety culture in the county to the next level. And we're here to celebrate that. So I'd just like to say thank you for the support that you've been giving your safety committee. I'd like to say thank you for the safety committee and Melissa and anybody who else may be here from the safety committee. Thank you for all your hard work, and say congratulations as well.
Okay. All right, here's another guy that's been a big friend of Hood County's, and I'll tell you that. He's worked with us and really helped us on the important deals, hasn't he, Melissa? This is Todd Kiesel. Mr. Kiesel.
Judge, you're very kind. Thank you for the compliment. My name is Todd Kiesel. As Isaac said, y'all have earned this award based upon your workers' compensation, but your safety culture encompasses all of your risk management. We provide your workers' compensation, we provide your auto liability, your auto physical damage coverage, your law enforcement liability, your general liability, your public officials liability, and your property coverage. And the award is based upon criteria for workers' comp, but all of those go hand in hand. All of your safety culture, it crosses all those lines. And this is the first time that y'all have achieved the safety award, and we're looking to continue this process along year after year. It's momentum, and congratulations to all of you, to all the elected and the appointed officials, to the department heads, to the employees, because you're all working together and working safe, and we appreciate that, and congratulations to y'all.
Okay. Let me tell you this. This is how important this medal is. Everybody knows there are 254 counties in Texas. Please tell the audience, how many counties got this safety award?
Approximately this year, so There are two different tiers of the safety award, and that was something I neglected to mention. So let me say that. There are two different tiers. We have a regular safety award, and then we have an excellence award. The excellence award, Hood County just skipped the regular safety award and jumped right onto the top tier. So congratulations on that as well. Off the top of my head, I want to say there are less than 15 counties that were able to achieve the Excellence in Safety Award this year.
15 out of 254, that's pretty good, isn't it? Hey. Thank y'all for very much. Is there any
Yes.
kind of certificate or anything you want to?
There is, and if we could get the court and any Hood County employee, because everyone contributed to this
Okay.
award.
All right.
I'm going to take pictures.
Yeah.
You need to be in the picture.
You need to be in the picture.
Ms. Head, you want to take the picture?
Y'all gonna have to act like y'all like each other. Okay, one more.
We're selling it like 10 glasses for $50.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Hey, thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate y'all coming down. Y'all got places to go, so y'all can leave if you need to. Thank you. Tell everybody else hello.
Isaac's going to do some training here right after court, so we're going to stay and sit through court.
Okay, good deal. Thanks, Todd. Okay, we have another award, and this is also a very important award. The Texas Floodplain Management Association is presenting to Hood County the County Floodplain Management Excellence Award. Now, this is big time, isn't it?
We think it is.
This is Stephanie Griffin and Wes Birdwell, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You're any relation to Senator Birdwell?
Yes, sir. I think our grandfathers were brothers.
Is that right?
Great-grandfathers, I'm sorry. Both came to Texas at about the same time. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, then you get safe passage in and out of Hood County, okay?
Thank you.
So nobody can stop you then, okay. And this is going to be, I guess, presented to our industrial flood management and everything else, development management, Mr. Clint Head. This is really good. Would y'all please read the proclamation or whatever you have there?
Absolutely. Well, good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Good morning.
We are with Texas Floodplain Management Association. We are excited to be here. We have awards that we give out every year, and Hood County received the County Excellence Award from the association. And it's for all of the public outreach that Clint and his staff have done with the homeowners associations, with your flood damage prevention ordinance, and then also for your higher standards. So one of the things that the TFMA really promotes every year is our higher standards and trying to get development to bring up the lowest floor elevation of their structures to prevent future flood damages. And so you all have that that additional 2-foot freeboard, and that's something that is near and dear to our hearts, especially those of us who've worked in the municipal sector and have had to deal with flood claims and flood victims. And so I think that that will serve you well in the long run. I know it's kind of a challenge to get some of those ordinances passed, but in the long run, it does a lot of good for the community. So we are here today. We have an award to present to Clint and your staff. We have another award that is actually a wooden award that will hang on the wall. This will sit on the desk for now. We've had a little issue with UPS, and they're not quite sure where it ended up, so we will get that to you. But Clint, we are so excited to present this to you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
One more.
Can I get one?
Shannon's got,
One more.
Wes had an assignment from the office staff. You better bring back a picture. Thank y'all.
And I'd like to say it's the
Go ahead.
county's award, because if it wasn't for the court allowing me to reach out to the HOAs and the changing the regulations to fix them, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, then we wouldn't have got the award.
Well, you do an excellent job, everybody. This award really does prove that, doesn't it, Stephanie?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, good deal. Well, congratulations, Clint. You made us look proud. Thank you all. And thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie and Wes, for coming down. Appreciate it. Okay.
I just wanted to say that doing the good thing, as the pastor called us to do, is not always the easy thing. And what you're doing is not the easy thing, but it'll reap benefits for Hood County for many years to come. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you very much, Wes. Thank you very much. Okay? There are no service awards then today, are they? Okay. Then the next item on the agenda are the citizens' comments at large. And this is where, like I explained previously, if you have filled out a public participation form, you'll be allowed to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes on any item not on the agenda. So the first person is Mr. Doug Moore. Mr. Moore?
Do you know how this thing works?
Well, yeah, that's for the agenda items. That's just for the agenda. Yeah, these, I can keep count of these. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Moore.
Good morning, Judge, and all the
Okay.
commissions. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
I am Doug Moore, and we, the undersigned eligible voters of Hood County, Texas, petition the Commissioners Court of Hood County to contact with our employee to understand, or an outside entity that will fairly and without bias investigate the full extent to the validity of the residence provided by Commissioner David Eagle as being 2615 Hillside Drive, Granbury, Texas, 76048, for the purpose of running for the office of Hood County Commissioner, Precinct 4. In addition, we request the above-mentioned Commissioners Court to contact with an alternate county attorney's office to appoint a county's attorney pro tem to oversee the process, the investigation to the Hood County 335th District Court before unbiased visiting district judge who will swear or subpoena or further utility bills said residents for the commissioner to order to the other homes of equal size and occupancy to aid in the investigation. It is our intent that the investigation determine whether Commissioner David Eagle actually resides at that residence of 2615 Hillside Drive, Granbury, Texas, 76048, and meet the legal requirements to run for the office of Hood County Commissioner Precinct 4. It is found that the government document was submitted with fraudulent intention. Then we, the citizens, request that the court to proceed with prosecution and removal proceedings of any and all parties involved. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moore. And by the same rules that when somebody speaks at large, the commissioners are not allowed to respond or engage in any kind of discussion. So thank you very much, Mr. Moore, for your
Okay, who
comment.
do I turn this into?
Yes.
Who do I send this to?
To Ms. Lang, hand that to Ms. Lang, okay? How many pages is that, sir? Seven, and is it, okay. It's 7 pages of signatures, am I correct? Yeah. Okay. Please hand this for the record to Ms. Lang. Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, the next speaker is Ms. Karen Lowry. Ms. Lowry.
Judge Mashengill and honorable commissioners, we are reaching out to the Commissioners Court today to bring attention to an issue of great importance to our children and our community. I speak today on sexually explicit and inappropriate content in the GSID library books. For background, Governor Abbott sent letters to the Texas Education Agency, the Texas State Board of Education, the Texas State Library and Archives Commission stating, you have an obligation to Texas parents and students to ensure that no child in Texas is exposed to pornography or other inappropriate content while inside the public schools. He also included Texas Penal Code 4324. The parents, grandparents, and residents of Hood County need to be aware of sexually explicit books in our school libraries. The content of these books are age inappropriate for our children and should not be available to them through our school libraries. I was privileged to sit on the book review committee. I have firsthand knowledge of the process used to vet the list of 133 books. It was discovered after the vetting process that new sexually explicit books were being added to the school library in violation of Texas Penal Code 4324. This indicates that the process for approving books to be placed in our school library system is flawed and needs to be improved immediately for the safety of our children. My point today is to bring to your attention and those here in the courtroom and watching from their homes the awareness that Hood County tax dollars are being used to place sexually explicit and age-inappropriate material in our GISD library. These sexually explicit materials have no place in our schools, as outlined in the Penal Code 4324. Our tax dollars should be used to educate our children in reading, writing, math, science, critical thinking for the betterment of our society and their future. I would hope you would agree that sexually explicit, age-inappropriate books have no place in our school system. And to bring my point home, I will read, and after listening to the invocation and a few things, I'm just going to read a couple lines, not a complete couple paragraphs from these books. There was a book that was returned after committee review, and a book added to the library a few weeks later. You have those books marked on with the tab that I gave you. And I will say this before I read this. I'm personally acquainted with a parent who's convinced that her child became addicted to porn from reading these books checked out of the GCISD library, of GISD. I also want to say reading this material disturbs me as it should disturb those who hear my words. Please understand these books are being made available for our children to read through our GISD libraries. Out of the Darkness was a book voted to be returned to the library. It is a rape scene. Beto Tide washed to the tree with shaking fingers. He was sobbing now. It wasn't so hard, was it? Henry said to Beto. When he finished, he crossed to the tree and tied the knots. And as it goes on, it gets more graphic. And then at the end, he says, "But don't try anything. I've got a gun right here. Beto looked long enough to see the revolver his father laid near his sister's face as his father was getting ready to rape his sister." And then logged in a couple weeks ago was a book called What Girls Are Made Of. This is an actual sexual act of a young man and a young girl. Seth thrust forward onto the bed and between my legs and against the thin barrier that separates us. My phone gets twisted as Seth takes it off, and I hear it rip. I would hope. He grows impatient and yanks too hard, and it goes on and gets extremely explicit. And then at the end, she says, "As I walked into the bathroom connected to my room, the sticky wetness drips down my thigh, a couple of drops falling silently on the carpet." In closing, closer oversight and supervision of the process to approve books in our GISCD library should be made a priority, and we need to conform to the Texas Penal Code. I thank you guys for listening. I know that was not exactly fun. You have all the information there in your packet, but we would like all the parents to know that this is completely inappropriate. It's inappropriate to read it here, but it's more inappropriate for our young children to be reading such trash. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Monica Brown.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I've moved to Granbury in June of 2020, so I'm relatively new. I can concur with everything that Karen said. It's 100% true. I am also one of the volunteer community members who was put on that committee. I did not want to be on it, but my husband thought it was a good idea that I should do it, and I said yes. So the way it worked, well, before I go further, I just want to say that if any one of you want to see for yourself so that you're not getting my opinion or even Karen's, you can go to GranburyTexasBooks.org and see probably 50 books that are in our library right now. These are not, as rumors have said, all LGBTQ books. They aren't. They're sexually explicit books. We were not asked to look for books on any particular sexual behavior. It was sexually explicit books and obscene content and content that was inappropriate for students. We are talking about student libraries, so any discussion needs to remember we're talking about student libraries, not public libraries, not Amazon. All these books are readily available for anyone that wants to know. They can research this for themselves. So if you go to GranburyTexasBooks.org, you can see the actual books that are in the library now. Many of them were pulled for review and put immediately back by the committee, and I probably won't have time to talk about that right now, but I can concur to everything she said. There's a book on there called Shout. I won't read it, but there is a book review for you there, and when I say book review, I mean excerpts from the book. Not my opinion and not Karen's opinion, but excerpts. Further down, there is a red flag warning, which is an opinion, and also a recommendation. And I would say 90+% of those books are highly not recommended for students. Or if they are in the library, they ought to be in a space where a parent can approve, a teacher can be involved, and the student goes to that book. So there are some that were not necessarily needed to be removed. That committee meeting, they put 100 books back in 2 meetings. So that means you got a 3-ring binder, you got 133 reviews given to you. I might be talking too fast. 133 book reviews in a big 3-ring binder. You had a timer, and you were to glance at the book and look at the review that someone else had pulled for you. Now, if I look up any product online, I want to look at good reviews and I want to look at bad reviews. If I'm going to say and put my name, which was put in Hood County newspaper along with everybody else's, saying we put back 100 books, which gave parents the impression that there's not a problem, and I beg to differ. If you go to Follett Discovery, I'll give you that. Online, you can look. It's called Go Follett, GOFOLLETT.com. And then you can look up any of those titles for yourself and see how many are in the library. This one called Shout is listed on Goodreads as sexually explicit in the top 25 sexually explicit books. Our committee put it back. And that committee had many GISD employees on it as well as community members. Now the kickback is that we have to go as parents to the school one by one with challenge papers, and I will not participate in that. Not after the committee I've already been on and the fact that the GISD employees are involved covering it. And I don't know how the parents are going to get it changed unless the leadership takes it, and that's the reason we're here, is because you guys are leaders here. These people in this room are concerned members of the community. I'm a concerned member, and I would like to see people step up and make sure the school board knows without a doubt that we're behind them. I'd rather see them pull more books and make a mistake and pull more books and then put some back than to leave them as they are. You need to see it for yourself. I hope you'll take time to look at the actual reviews that Karen gave you, but also those of you who are here, you can go to that website and look that up, and there are more reviews coming because I came to review the books. And there's 133, and I couldn't get it done in the short amount of time that I was given. And I believe that's most likely all I have to say. I don't believe we honored what the governor asked us to do, and I hope Granbury stands up and does what he asked us to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Our next speaker is Tina Brown.
Good morning. Haven't been here in a while, but I do watch the videos. Because of the recent fires in our area, I felt this was a perfect time to come and readdress the possibility of guaranteed funding for our fire department. I love that we live in a world where people come together and provide for our firefighters the way they did during the massive fires in our area with water, snacks, wipes, and etc. But I don't love that we live in a community that doesn't provide funding for them, guaranteed funding. It is shameful that our firefighters, our heroes, our first responders have to stand around with their hand out on street corners in order to provide for themselves. We should be providing for them. I am thankful that you were able to provide them with extra this year, but what happens next year? It's not guaranteed. With the explosive building happening in our county now and in the near future, the time to do something was yesterday. At the March 22nd meeting, Judge, you spoke highly of the dispatchers in this county and voted to give them a $5 an hour rate increase. You said many times that their job is critical, and it is. But you also made it very clear in this courtroom earlier that you believe our firefighters should work for nothing. I just don't understand that. When this court declined to put an ESD on the ballot for the voters to decide because of your personal opinions, there were some conversations of other options. I don't know if those conversations are ongoing or if they've been shoved to the back of the line, but I do believe our firefighters deserve better and our citizens deserve better. Of course, I could go on and on about this, but I wasn't sure how much time I had to speak. So feel free to contact me anytime. I'd love to talk with you about this. And I have one other thought. During this, all the fires, where was our county command RV, center RV? I didn't see it anywhere during the fires. Thank you so much.
Okay, now that brings us to the consent agenda. Does any commissioner wish to pull anything off the consent agenda? If not, the court will entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Andrews to approve the consent agenda, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0 to approve the consent agenda. Okay. And the next item is the roads. Mr. Donald Lenny. Mr. Lenny, how are you today, sir?
Good. Good morning, Judge Massengill, Commissioners.
Okay, the first thing we're going to have to do is to convene into a public hearing. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this time, at 25 minutes till 10, we're adjourning into a public hearing. The floor is yours, Mr. Lenny.
Judge, we were requested by a couple of citizens to look at this intersection of Sunset Acres Court and Larson Court. I spoke with Commissioner Andrews while looking at it. The request, we're recommending that we do place a stop sign at this location that does follow all of the TMU TCD rules and the rules of the road located in the Texas Transportation Code. So we would like to make that recommendation to the court.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or any discussions they wish to bring up or ask Mr. Lenny? If not, we're going to convene back into Commissioner's Court at this time. And do I hear an appropriate motion?
Yes, sir, Judge. I move that we place a stop sign at Sunset Acres Court at Larson Court.
Second.
Okay, a motion been made by Commissioner Andrews to erect a stop sign at Sunset Acres Court at Lawson Court, second by Commissioner Cotton. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Lenny. Okay. Development, Mr. Clint Head. Okay, sir. I think the first thing you want us to do is to set a date for a public hearing.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that right? And what is that date?
We'd like to, for the Pecan Plantation Unit 7, Lot 1461R, it's in Precinct 2. We'd like to recommend setting the public hearing for May 24th, 2022.
Okay.
Judge, I'll make the motion to set a public hearing for the replat of Pecan Plantation Unit 7, Lot 146R for May 24th.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Cotton to set a public hearing for the replat of Pecan Plantation Unit 7, Lot 1461R, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Next item we have is a preliminary plat for Orchard 15A. This property located at 9525 Plantation Drive in Granbury. The gross site area for this preliminary plat is 53.749 acres of the James W. Moore Survey, Abstract 344, and it proposes to create 96 single-family lots. This preliminary plat is located in the Water Quality District in Precinct 2. The lots in this preliminary plat will be served by AMUD Water and Sewer with 6-inch reinforced concrete streets. The smallest lot will be 0.292 of an acre. Staff has reviewed this preliminary plat. There are no variances associated with this preliminary plat. All comments have been addressed. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat of Orchards 15A as presented.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Do I hear an appropriate motion?
Judge, I will make the motion to approve the preliminary plat of Orchard 15A.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cotton to approve the preliminary plat of Orchards 15A, second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Next one is a preliminary plat of Orchard 15B. It's located at 9225 Plantation Drive in Granbury. The gross site area for this preliminary plat is 21.147 of the James Moore Survey, Abstract 344, and it proposes to create 32 single-family lots. It's also in the Water Quality District in Precinct 2, served by AMUD Water and Sewer, with 6-inch reinforced concrete streets, and the smallest lot in this preliminary plat is 0.344 of an acre. There are no variances associated with this preliminary plat. All comments have been addressed. Staff recommends approval of the Orchard 15A preliminary, or 15B preliminary plat as presented.
Any questions or comments? Do I hear a motion?
Judge, I'll move that we approve the preliminary plat of Orchards 15B.
Second. Second. Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Cotton to approve the preliminary plat of Orchards 15B, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion or comment? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Next, we have a public hearing to discuss and consider the site development plan at Cameron Lane Development in Precinct 2.
Okay, at this time, which is 20 minutes till 10, we will convene into a public hearing.
This property address for the site development plan is at 1600 Membrano Highway. The site development plan will occupy 4.55 acres of the Wary Adams Survey, abstract number 648. It is located in the Road Corridor District in Precinct 2 and proposes to develop and construct 4 8,400 square feet buildings to be used for commercial manufacturing businesses with 6-inch concrete parking and drive with a 24-foot wide fire lane. This site development plan will be served by A-mode water with on-site sewage facilities. All comments have been addressed. There are no variances associated with this site development plan. Staff recommends approval of the Cameron Lanes Development Site Development Plan as presented.
Okay. Any questions or comments, discussions? Okay, at this time, at 18 minutes till 10, we will convene back into Commissioners Court. At this time, do I hear a motion?
Judge, I'll make the motion to approve the site development plan for Cameron Lane Development.
Second.
A motion been made by Commissioner Cotton to approve the site development plan for Cameron Lane Development, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in agreement say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed say same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
We have another public hearing to discuss and consider variance request for 1862 Ranch in Precinct 1.
Okay. At this time, at 17 minutes till 10, we will convene into a public hearing.
This public hearing is for variances to Section 1, Article 4, Section 4.7A1, proportionality determination for dedication of right-of-way. Section 1, Article 5, Section 5.5, paragraph C2A, 2A. Section 2, subdivision regulations, Section 6.2. All these variances are concerning TxDOT right-of-way dedication and the spacing between intersections on the TxDOT right-of-way. The first variance concerning the proportionality determination for dedication of right-of-way, TxDOT approved the right-of-way prior to the court approving the concept plan and the approved entrance and did not request right-of-way for turn lanes or future expansion. Hood County requires a 50-foot building line to be dedicated on the plat adjoining the TxDOT right-of-way to protect any possible or any structures for possible future expansion. The second variance require the connections of or intersections be spaced a minimum of 300 feet. I can see the need for this variance if there's a very large development that might have multiple access points along the highway. But it's on a situation like this where you only have one access point and there's no other options. They only own that one piece of land, and there's no alternative but to ask for a variance. The third variance is referring to the right-of-way dedication again, and it refers to regards to the master thoroughfare plan related to the highway with TxDOT again. With TxDOT approving the access and the entrance and their blessing permitting the entrance, development has no objection to these variances.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, at 16 minutes to 10, we will convene back into Commissioners Court. At this time, does anybody have any questions or comments to make? If not, do I hear a proper motion?
Judge, I move that we allow the variance request for 1862 Ranch to Section 1, Article 4, Section 4.7A1, the proportionality determination of dedication of rights-of-way, Section 1, Article 5, Section 5.5, paragraph C2A, 2A, Section 2, Subdivision regulations, Section 6.2, minimum distance between connections is 300 feet.
I hear a second to that motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made by Commissioner Andrews and second by Commissioner Eagle in accordance with the printed material regarding the minimum distance between connections at the 1862 Ranch. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, Mr. Head. and congratulations on your award. County award. Good. Ms. Kidd, financial.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. For court today, you've received advance notices of invoices and other documents related to payments. Are there any questions on the spreadsheet that is up on the screen with payments over $10,000?
Does anyone have any questions or comments of Ms. Kidd regarding the payment of invoices? If not,
I would ask that you approve $1,302,957.80 in invoices.
do I hear a motion?
I move that we, pay the bills as defined, pay the amount of $1,302,957.80.
Second.
It's been made by Commissioner Wilson to pay the bills in the amount of $1,302,957.80. Second by Commissioner Cotton. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, thank you, Ms.
I'm waiting.
What
I'm
else? You have something else?
I'm waiting for number one so we can set a date for my staff to get these invoices paid promptly.
Oh, I see. So you want to go ahead and lead the court then? No, that's
I
fine.
want to negotiate.
No, we're going into the miscellaneous at this time up here, which is number one, and this is very important. Since the Commissioners Court it was a scheduled deal where county judges and commissioners meet on the next scheduled date for Tuesday, July 12th. There will be a lack of a quorum, so we're going to set a new date. And the new date is going to be, when are we going to set the 14th?
Could you do July 15th?
Yeah, the 15th, that's what we did the last time, I think,
Yes, sir.
didn't we?
What day of the week is that?
That's a Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, we come back on a Friday. So I guess, first of all, we need a motion to allow us to change the date from the second Tuesday to July the 15th because of lack of a quorum due to the Judges and Commissioners Association Conference in Denton. Somebody like to?
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Okay. Is there, Commissioner Cotton has made a motion to reset the normal second Tuesday Commissioners Court meeting in July to July 15th, 2022, second by Commissioner Wilson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Ms. Kidd. Okay, item number 2, discuss and take appropriate action to approve the purchase of a patrol rifle, rifle mags, and rifle ammo for Hood County Precinct 3 Constable's Office out of Fund 55 with the purchase price not to exceed $1,600. There is Chief Deputy. You're not the constable in Precinct 3.
You're right.
Chief.
He called me about an hour and a half ago and asked me to present this because he's out of town and the person he had presenting was not able to do so.
Okay.
So he asked me to come up and present this for him.
Okay.
It's simply, he's requesting the purchase of a patrol rifle, magazines, and ammo for his office, as his office does not have one. There were several years before he was constable, his office was issued one. It was turned over to the sheriff's office several years ago because it wasn't being utilized, I assume, and we issued that out to one of our patrol deputies, so his office doesn't have one, and that's what he's requesting.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comment? We got money in Fund 55 to pay this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I hear an appropriate motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the purchase of a patrol rifle, rifle mags, and rifle ammo for Hood County Precinct 3 Constable's Office out of Fund 55 with a purchase price not to exceed $1,600.
Here a second.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to approve the purchase of the patrol rifle, rifle mags, and rifle ammo for Hood County Precinct 3 Constable's Office out of Fund 55, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further question or comment? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief. Okay, item number 3, consider and take appropriate action to allow the county judge to sign a 90-day burn ban extension. We have Fire Marshal Jeff Young.
Judge, Commissioners?
Yes, sir.
What this is the extra Forest Service report that we get on a pretty regular basis.
I was fixing to ask him that question. That's a,
You're asking for a burn ban?
I think it's coming.
90 or something.
We passed one 90 days ago, and it still hasn't rained enough, so. I'm really kind of in a conundrum. I think we're getting pretty close to where we could consider lifting the burn ban, but when we are still getting red flag notices and high fire danger notices every other day, I feel inclined to ask for a 90-day extension to the current burn ban, and then if conditions improve immensely between now and the expiration of that, we can always lift it. But if we don't do this today, the current burn ban expires.
I noticed all the way up to Comanche. Yesterday, every county has a burn ban.
Yes, sir. And if you talk to anybody at the Forest Service, they're highly encouraging counties to leave their burn ban in place for right now. What I want to point out to you is if you look at the very last page, the forecast for tomorrow has almost the entire state in red for a high fire danger. Granted, we're supposed to have hailstorms and lots of rain and all that stuff at some point today, but you know, a quick dumping rain is not really going to put fuel moisture back into the fuel load. So I'm reluctant to ask for it to be lifted. In fact, I'm asking for an extension, and then we can reevaluate this on a weekly or if not daily basis. I understand that people have a need to burn because they call my office and express that need daily. But at the same time, I feel a need to protect the public in general, so.
Especially with the wind.
Yes, sir.
Being out of.
And what people don't realize is we get a little bit of rain, and in 2 days, all that high wind and the sun coming out, all it does is dry out that dead, dry grass that's above ground, and it's still dead, dry grass. It's just now sitting over a puddle of mud that makes it harder to get to.
Any further discussion or comment? Do I hear an appropriate motion?
Yeah, Judge, I'll make the motion to extend the burn ban for 90 days.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Commissioner Andrews has made a motion to extend the 90-day to burn ban for an additional 90 days, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen. And this may be too late to mention this, but going back to that last agenda item, I don't know if this helps. I have an unassigned patrol rifle at my office because I had stuff for 3 and I've only got the 2 of us now. So if that helps at all, I've got a patrol rifle and magazines that I can transfer to whoever it is that needs it.
Well,
it may be too late to mention that because it's already been voted on and everything, but that is available if it's needed.
I think we're required to spend the money.
It's just an option. In fact, I think I may have 2 of them in there.
You've got a whole arsenal. Good.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there as an option.
Well, let's see how they can do that. If they can do it in their office, then we can correct it at the next commission.
I think it would just be a matter of transferring assets.
Yes.
So just that's.
Thank you very much.
It's an older one. It's not a new one, but it's available.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, the next item. Discuss and take appropriate action regarding the addition of the federal holiday, Juneteenth, to the Hood County holiday schedule. This has been brought up. It's on here. Anybody wish to discuss that or have a comment? I haven't been checking these. I'm assuming I haven't had anybody so far. Or is this? The first one is item 7 that you had? Yeah. 7 and 10. Okay. Good. Okay. Nobody has been. Does any commissioner wish to make any motion or discuss this at all?
Do you know if other counties are doing this?
I asked, yes. Melissa, you want to step up here and see what the other counties are doing about this?
Last year, there was an email thread that went through regarding HR and some of the questions about Juneteenth. Some counties are observing it and some are not. It's really just up to the court on how you feel about it and if you want to acknowledge it. But I can't give you a number of who is doing it and who's not, but I know that by the responses, some were and some were not.
If it went to a vote of the employees, I bet it'd get voted in.
We do like our holidays, I am not going to lie, and we are very grateful for our holiday schedule.
Well, I wish to. I see that the city is well represented here today. Do y'all take the holiday, Mr. Kaufman?
The city council voted last year to make that a holiday.
You did vote to make a holiday?
The city council voted that a holiday last year.
Okay. Well, I guess.
Judge, I'll step in there and make a motion.
Okay.
To make a motion that we add the addition of a federal holiday, Juneteenth, to the Hood County holiday schedule.
Motion been made by Commissioner Cotton to add the federal holiday Juneteenth to the Hood County holiday schedule. Do I hear a second?
I will second it with the amendment that it's the Friday the 17th, which would be the Friday before rather than the Monday after. Because most people, if I understand, would rather have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday holiday rather than a Saturday, Sunday, Monday holiday.
Is that all right with you?
All right by me.
Okay, so that's the motion.
Friday the 17th.
I think that only applies next year or whatever.
Change every year.
The holiday for this year on Friday the 17th, because the 19th is on a Sunday, and then that way it will be, gives us, the employees a Friday, Saturday, Sunday week, 3-day weekend.
That'd be for this year only because it's only going to come in next year, it'll be on a Monday.
Every year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be every year, it's going to be the Friday.
Well, no, it'd be whatever
day.
it depends on what day the 19th falls on. This year it falls on Sunday.
So you're going to take it on the 15th, I see. Okay.
17th.
17th, okay. All right. Is that all right? So you got the motion in?
I'll correct that motion or add that to the motion.
Okay. So did you get that, Ms. Lang? Yes. Okay, good. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 5, consider and take appropriate action to award RFB 2022-001, liquid asphalts and oils. Mr. Glenn Tillman.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. The bids for liquid asphalts, oils, and emulsions, RFB 2022-1, were open on March 28th at 10 a.m. After examining the 2 qualifying responses, it's the recommendation of Purchasing and Road Operations to award the contract to Cleveland Asphalt Products as the primary vendor and to Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions as an alternate vendor.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Do I hear an appropriate motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the action to award RFB 2022-001 liquid asphalt, oils, and emulsions to Cleveland Asphalt Products as primary vendor and Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions, Inc. as the alternate.
I hear a second.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to approve Cleveland Asphalt Products as the primary vendor and Ergon Asphalt Emulsion as the alternate vendor for the liquid asphalts, oils, and emulsions, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay. You have the next, that's
Yes.
the next one too, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Consider and take appropriate action to approve request of purchasing and the sheriff's office to put out for bid RFP 2022-002 above-ground fuel tank pump fuel management system and setup. We
Yes.
got to have fuel, don't we?
Yes, sir. So as a matter of public safety, the Sheriff's Office has requested that we seek bids for an above-ground fuel tank setup for everyday use, but more importantly, for times when there's no fuel publicly available, such as during the power outages and shortages when, hurricanes hit the Gulf. We experienced that a few years back as well, and during the ice storms.
Probably a good idea, isn't it, Sheriff?
Oh, yeah, there's been a number of times over the last few years that we had a hard time finding fuel for the cars. So years ago, we had a fuel tank up at the office, and it makes sense to have one again. We shouldn't have never let that one go, but we did. But there's been a lot of times when we've had problems finding fuel. Stuff was shut down, like he said, with the power outages. We've had that happen a couple times here in the last few years, and we got to keep those cars responding to serve and protect the citizens. So I'd sure love it if we could look into this and then make the fuel available for all the county vehicles that need it to serve and protect the citizens.
We should get there'd be a discount buying bulk, wouldn't it, versus a pump? I mean, commercial?
Yeah, it's not tremendous, but yes, it is less expensive than at the pump.
Yeah. You got an appropriate place to put this thing?
Yeah, years ago we had one in the east corner of the impound lot. So the place is still there. The fuel pump was there. We had a cover built many years ago. So looking at putting it in that area up there, either outside that old fence or inside, just however it fits. It should be fairly easy to do that.
Okay, so this is just to look into it and see what kind of bids you can get.
Yes, this is to seek proposals from different companies along with quotes for doing that.
Okay, do I hear an appropriate motion to seek proposals?
Yeah, Judge, then I'll make a motion to allow purchasing in the sheriff's office to put out for bid RFP 2022-002 for an above-ground fuel tank pump fuel management system and setup.
Second.
Okay. So a motion been made by Commissioner Cotton to allow the purchasing and sheriff's office to put out for bid the above-ground fuel tank, second by Commissioner Wilson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item, number 8, discuss and consider for approval and ratification the execution by the county judge of a certain non-disclosure agreement, parentheses, signed for purposes of expediency between Certainteed LLC and Hood County.
Judge, wait a minute. I think 7's next, isn't it?
Oh, excuse me, I wrote down it the wrong one. Excuse me. This is number 7. Consider and take appropriate action for the judge to sign a 1-year contract between Hood County and the Hood County Appraisal District. I wasn't going to cut you out here, Andy. Come on in, okay?
Sorry, I was looking at the baby pictures back there.
Okay.
So, just want to go over a little thing real quick. There was a miscommunication, and I wish it was brought to my attention. I mean, my door's always open. You can always come in and ask me any questions. Nobody's done it yet, but please feel free to come and ask me if you have a question over the agreement. I do apologize for the confusion. On the last paragraph, it's supposed to be April, and I did send it to Matt, and I did send it to Eddie Rowe this morning. That needs to be changed to April 2022. And then we had to change part of it because of how they collect property taxes again. So we had to go in there and alter that and change the new policy on it. So that was changed as well. And then there was quite a few little things of trying to get the board members and everybody like that to sign it within a timely fashion because they didn't meet, and we had to change a few things on it. But please, come in and ask me questions. Just say, my door's always open.
Yeah, sorry, that was me.
Right over it. I know.
I went over to,
You weren't pointing him out.
I just took it to Matt, and I was like, what does this mean?
I'm like, my
so,
door's
yeah,
open.
My apologies.
Please come and ask me. I mean, I am very easy to work with and very nice. I won't bite your head off.
So, yeah. You haven't yet. Okay. So in other words, just on that last paragraph in witness where on this day instead of June of 2022, is that where?
Yes, it goes, it's supposed to be marked out, and it says April.
Okay. Is that, Mr. Mills, do you agree that that's the only correction that needs to be made?
Well, there was the dates in the term in the second Roman numeral.
Right, I'm short, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. That's right. Oh,
Yes. It's supposed to be June to September.
oh.
Yeah.
So June what? June 1st?
Well, wait a second, okay, sorry.
Y'all go ahead and.
Are you talking about in Roman numeral 2, the term?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it says
okay.
March 1 through March 1, 2023.
Right.
And see, it says June, effective to
Yeah,
September every year.
I mean, as I understand, and this just got brought to me by Kevin at 4 o'clock yesterday, so I was scrambling. But I think what we need to do is just delete that bottom sentence. I mean, she says according to the statute, it's supposed to be March 1st.
Oh.
And last year, we did it late, and
Because of the
and
pandemic.
so we're still covered. I mean, it's not like there's not an agreement as of today's date.
No.
But the contract essentially backdates it to the correct date, which is March the 1st of this year to March 1st of
23rd.
next year. That's basically it. So I would just strike that, yeah, and change the date. So just strike that, where it says renewal of the contract shall require official action to be taken by June each year to renew effective September 1 of the same year. That doesn't make sense in light of doing it March 1st, like you said yesterday, Kevin. So I would just strike that line, and we're good.
That's it.
Make sense?
Show me which line to
Clear as
strike,
mud.
and I'll strike her. Yeah, just,
This one right here, all through this one right here.
why don't you initial it, and I'll initial it, and then we'll sign it. How about that?
And there, I just put my initial right next to it.
Good.
There you go.
Perfect. Okay, so that, and then I'll. Okay, so then the deal is that you recommend that we sign this contract, and Mr. Mills recommends it too. So do I hear an appropriate motion?
And I did
to-
send it to Eddie already as well.
Eddie, yeah,
Eddie
I'll see
Rowe.
that he signed it. Everybody else has signed it, so you just need to sign it. I'll
Yes.
sign it, and then you can sign it. So do you make a motion?
Did we have a speaker on that? Like you said, there was one on.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh, we do. Nanette, was it Nanette? Samuel? Yes, Nanette, did you, Ms. Samuelson, did you request to speak on this?
Just in the vein of, reading a contract before you sign it, I had some of the same questions, so it's been taken care of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so do I hear an appropriate motion?
Yeah, Judge, I will move that we approve the contract as amended with the changes that we made there.
Okay, a motion been made by Commissioner Andrews that we approve the contract between the Hood County and the property, Hood County Appraisal District and Hood County. And do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Now, where in the hell are we now? Let's see. Okay, now we're back to 8 now. Discuss and consider for approval and ratification the execution by the county judge of a certain non-disclosure agreement signed for purposes of expediency between Certainty LLC and Hood County. This was signed by me last week at some time. Somebody was here to come up from Certainty to speak to Commissioner Eagle, I believe, and this is just a real standard document, and I went ahead and signed it so they could discuss this proposed, hopefully, economic development in Hood County. And so for purposes of transparency, I put it on the docket so that we could all approve my action of signing the non-disclosure agreement. So do I hear a motion? This is number 8. There was, I don't have a speaker, does it? You're right. Nanette Samuelson, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Just a question. As you said, this is a pretty standard non-disclosure, which normally is between two companies. And at the beginning, unless this has been changed since the one I printed off from the agenda, it says between Certainteed having a place of business at 20 Moores Road, Malvern, Pennsylvania, and it's left blank. It doesn't say Hood County. It says blank, a company having a place of business at, and that's blank too. So has there been updates to this contract? I mean, you'd have already signed it as of April 5th, so when you read it, did you notice that it said company and it didn't have filled in Hood County? So I'm not sure who this non-disclosure is with.
Well, I was assuming Mr. Eagle was going to fill it in. I saw it and signed it and was going to try to call him, didn't do it. So you did speak to these people on that day, did you not?
One day last week, I think.
Yeah.
So is the non-disclosure between, I mean, it doesn't really say who the non-disclosure is between, because it says having a place of business, Certainteed having a place of business at 20 Moores Road, Malvern, Pennsylvania, and then it's blank, a company having a place of business. Well, it's not filled in.
Well, we can fill it in now.
Okay, and you've already signed it as it's blank. And then a little ways down, under the purpose, and I'm not sure if you can show this on the screen or not, it might make more sense. The parties may engage in certain activities as part of investigation or conducting a business relationship related to the discussions, all rail decisions, and all aspects associated with the Project Titan potential project, and then there's a blank there too, and says the purpose is part of, so I'm not sure what was supposed to be filled in that blank or what that is, but it just looks odd that there's a big blank there as part of which they may exchange confidential information. And also just again to point out that, as I mentioned a few months ago on another contract, the subject of that this contract is subject to the laws of the state of Delaware and not Texas. So that's probably where Certainteed is incorporated, but you know, if we want to make sure that we're protecting Hood County and you know, you have an opportunity to change that to be Texas.
Okay, and it was intended for Mr. Mills to always approve it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so do I hear a motion to allow the ratification of the non-disclosure agreement, which I have signed with Certainteed?
Judge, I'll make the motion for the approval and ratification, the execution by county judge of a certain non-disclosure agreement.
Second.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Wilson, excuse me, Commissioner Cotton to allow me to sign the, to approve the ratification of non-disclosure agreement with Certainteed LLC in Hood County. Second by Commissioner Eagle. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 9. Discuss and take appropriate action to lease the county deeded property in Rancho Brazos to the Rancho Brazos Community Centers, a 501c3 charitable organization in accordance with the Rancho Brazos lease agreement. This is a 99-year lease at $1 per acre for community support per year. $1 per year for community support for Rancho Brazos and Sandy Beach community support. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
I think I recognize these ladies up here. I'm going to let Mr. Wilson do this.
This is the property that is in discussion. Can you show the map, please? Okay. Currently, they're operating in this facility right here, serving, they distribute food twice monthly. Also, it's basically children go there after school, and this location, they've outgrown, the use of that facility there. The property that's outlined in red is Hood County deeded property by various property owners in the past. And, right here, between this line, this pole right here, there's major power distribution there, so the easement has to be observed there. The usage will be to put a new building in this area right here that will serve as a food, distribution, storage and distribution facility on the site. Then their plans also include putting a community garden area in there and also some chicken coops in there, for the service of the people in Rancho Brazos and Sandy Beach for that.
Okay. Clara, you want to speak, say something?
I believe,
everything I was going to say.
I believe Ms. Jan had a couple of words, but I believe that Mr. Jack just covered everything that we came to say.
I mean, I think big picture, with the growth in Hood County, we have outgrown our facility, and in order to keep serving and giving and doing our food program and our after-school program, we need to raise funds for a building, and this would be perfect to put it, right next to our main center.
And I might add that, Mr. Mills and I have worked on this, for at least 2-3 weeks, getting the verbiage right on the lease itself. And, both the county and the, president of the board for Rancho Brazos, for the 501(c) are in agreement on the lease itself.
Okay. It's certainly needed. Y'all certainly do a great job. I know that.
Thank you.
You really do, and it's a big, that land is really useless to anything else, isn't it?
Right now
Not a
there's
benefit to the county, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
But it will be a
ballpark on it.
benefit to the citizens of Rancho Brazos and Sandy Beach, specifically, for those that are in that area.
Okay. So, any questions or further discussion about this? Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the action to lease the county deeded property in Rancho Brazos, as is noted on the map, to the Rancho Brazos Community Centers, a 501(c) charitable organization in accordance with the Rancho Brazos lease agreement. This is a 99-year lease at $1 per year for community support of Rancho Brazos and Sandy Beach community.
I'll second it. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now, who
you
we're
so
going
much.
to get to pay that $99?
For the record, here's the $99 for the 99-year agreement, right here.
Okay. Let the record reflect that
That changed.
Commissioner Wilson has tendered the exact cash to the treasurer. Leanne McCoy, don't be going to Fort Worth spending that on clothes or anything. Is that
Count
correct?
it twice.
Oh, correct. All right.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank you, ladies, both. Thank y'all for all that you do. Okay. Okay, item number 10, discuss policy and procedures regarding requests for public information. I've got 2 items here. Is there only 2 people that sign up for public participation? Ms. Lang? I got Grant Wood and Harold Granick.
Yes, sir. Harold and Grant.
Okay. Are you, Okay, I guess we go ahead and let the judge speak on this. Yeah.
He's the one that wants it.
Yeah. You're the one that sponsored it, aren't you?
Yes, sir, with Commissioner Eagle. Thank you. Good morning, judges, commissioners. Before I get started, I'd like to let everybody know that we lost a individual, Doug Johnson. He was our Hood County Chief Deputy when I came here in 1990 under Sheriff Edwin Tomlinson. He passed away this weekend. His funeral services are today, but he was known to a lot of us as Deputy Dog. And as a young trooper when I came here, he kind of took me under his wing and in a grandfatherly fashion and just always checked on me, and he did that with everybody. So I'd like to keep his family. He had a large family, all in Toller, but he'll be buried today at 3 o'clock there in Toller. So I'd like to recognize Doug for his service to Hood County. He was also a United States veteran in the Air Force, 20 years. And so anyway, I just want to remember him on this day. So public information was my job responsibility as a DPS trooper for 21 years. I was a public information officer. And so we've had some issues come up that have brought concern to me. And looking at our public information request, open records request, I've seen some issues that I think we can streamline and we can make better, but it's going to take several of us getting together, if you will, form a committee with HR. I've spoken with Melissa, I've spoken with Drew and IT and Matt Mills on this, and there's a lot of moving parts. So I think we need to be a little bit more reasonable in our rules and requests for obtaining public records, and we need to establish reasonable policies and guidelines. And I think one of the first things we can do is create a web page specifically for Hood County. Our Hood County Sheriff has got it right. He has a web page on Hood County that explains how to obtain public information records from his department and the steps you need to go through, which actually streamlines the process and makes it easier. I'd like for Hood County, and I'm volunteering to help with this committee or lead the committee with HR and Drew, and of course Matt Mills with his legal expertise on this, and helping us get a web page. In your packet I presented to you all this morning, there's information about the Hood County Sheriff's web page. There's information on the DPS web page, which I'm very familiar with as I was the public information for 21 years, and what the state requires in public information request, open records request, and so forth. So there's some examples there in creating our own Hood County web page that will help Melissa, because she told me last week, as of last week, she had received 87 open records requests for this year. It's 20, 30 a month, and so that keeps her quite busy. And the process for each open records request has to be handled a little bit differently. And so we've had some requests ask for all of emails for certain county official, and there's certain rules under the Open Records and Public Information Records Act, which is quite thick, that addresses very different issues on different levels. There's issues in there on public officials, and there's issues in there on or procedures for other processes, whether it's law enforcement and so forth. Well, there's also a third issue, which is why what brought me up here is an email was released regarding another public official, a law enforcement agency, to my office, which is a judicial agency. And judicial agencies fall under Rule 12. Now, the Freedom of Information Act was directed towards the executive branch in our federal government. So out of that act came our Public Information Act in the state of Texas, which addresses based on the executive branch. But the Office of Court Administration, the Texas Supreme Court, we have our own rules and laws and regulations for justice offices, which is mine, a JP. And so we fall under that as well and this was not included in your packet, but it talks about the Office of State and Court Administration and the rules regarding information from a judicial office. Also, under the Public Information Act, it also states that any matters of legal, whether civil or criminal, and litigation can be redacted or withheld by the judge. And so I had an email that went out with Constable Shirley that was requesting information for subpoena. And it was involving and could involve legal, civil, or criminal matters, possibly, but that email was released. And it was released without my notification. And so when I contacted HR and I contacted IT and contacted Matt Mills, so there's a process, and Melissa gets the email requesting in HR for the open records request. Then it's sent to IT, and then it's supposed to be sent to the individual, which in this case was the constable, but I was also involved. Or I was not involved, but it involved one of two emails on information on a subpoena. Now that subpoena was in draft form, which legally we do not have to give to open records. That shouldn't have been produced without me looking at it. Had I been notified of it, I could have redacted it, I could have withheld it, or asked for a more detailed explanation of what emails this person was looking for. And after this information went out, I started asking, how did it get out? Well, I've heard a various explanation of who it goes to. Well, I'm also asking in this process that if it's given to one official and that email has another official, that official be notified. And so that's what I'm asking to be done, is to streamline our process and to make it a little easier. So there's three kind of caveats here. There's one for the Sheriff's Department, there's one for Hood County, and then there's one for judicial offices, which is what I fall under, and I fall under Rule 12, which I've provided you here. Now, we'll gather all this information and come up with a web page that I think will help all of us in Hood County, including the public. Melissa has received emails and requests from Jessica Rabbit, Peter Pan, various other people that are not real people. And I always argue in the Public Information Act, it says a person. And a person, well, Jessica Rabbit, Peter Pan, whatever email, anonymous email address is submitted is not a person. Now, I've had great discussions with the Texas Attorney General and the DPS General Counsel, and they kind of said, yes, you do have to give it to Jessica Rabbit or Peter Pan. But under Rule 12 in the Judicial Act set up for judges, I do not have to. Judges do not have to. We can obtain who that person is. And it says it in the law. And the Constitution of the state of Texas also guarantees this for the judicial offices. So if a request is coming to my office, and also in my packet, I have a form for legal request for my office, that if it comes in, and it just mimics the DPS form that I used for 21 years when I was a PIO with them. So that's a different request. So if HR gets a request for anything out of my office, it should directly come to me, and I will look at it under these guidelines of Rule 12. Now, I can also choose to release certain information, or if I think it involves legal matters, whether civil or criminal, then I'll choose not to release it. And the person also has an option, and in our web page, just like the sheriff's web page and the DPS web page, there are several links throughout the page sending you to the Texas Attorney General, the Public Information Act, and Rule 12 of the Office of Court Administration, so they can get a better understanding of what's allowed and what's not. So to finish up this part of it, and there's a lot of notes in here, the fee schedule. I don't think, Melissa, we don't have a published fee schedule, right? Because some things, if Melissa's asked for every email for Doug Gillum Well, there's quite a few. And Drew, their time is valuable, and DPS, we had a certain standard. If it was under $40 and involved so many pages, well, it would be given to you. But if it involved a great amount of time redacting information, copies. Now, in the law, we can take requests by email, but we do not have to respond in email electronically. Now, we do, and we can because it's more convenient, but literally we can charge per page. And if it's a large amount, when I was with DPS, we had requests that involved over $600, and that had to be paid up front if they wanted it. If not, and they didn't respond with a certain time, then it would their request would be null and void. Or if we have someone request a lot of information, because this is putting a lot of work on Melissa and our IT, just to speak of, what is their hourly rate? To have someone go through and get all this information, and if we printed it out or it's per page, we can give it to the person on a thumb drive if we provide the thumb drive, because we don't want to put a thumb drive from somebody else in one of our computers, which IT appreciates that, because it can affect our software and hardware. So we can give it to them on a thumb drive, but we're going to charge for that. We need to be charging for that, because at 87 requests, or maybe even 90 as of this date, that's a lot of work on our county, and it's a lot of time by our employees. Now, the rates will be different too, because I, as a judge, we can set a standard rate. My hourly rate for me to redact something would be a little bit more than a county employee, or for instance, Constable Shirley doesn't have an administrative assistant, so it's up to him to do all that work himself. So we would have to put out a fee schedule, and that would be listed on our webpage as well, so everybody would have a clear understanding of what they can ask for, what information is needed, and how they go about getting it.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
It's a very complicated issue. It's a big book. You've seen it, you've read it.
Oh, yeah.
We've all been to school.
Thank you.
We've all been to school, we've all heard this, and we've set up our PI through Melissa, through the county attorney, and IT.
Right.
So I guess let's get down to what's the issue, what specifically? I mean, you went over a large.
Yeah. So I had an email.
What?
So I had an email that was given out.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been.
Who says? You, the attorney, or attorney general? Just you? I'm just asking.
Yes. The email went out, and so
said,
we had anonymous letters sent to you, okay, by someone in the county,
okay,
and it referenced that email in there. And so it went to the county judge and all the commissioners, and it went to the Hood County News, and it went to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and it was a bunch of accusations in there, but it referenced that email. So I'm still trying to find out how that email was released, because it involved legal information. So throwing that in, I have Rule 12, because I'm a judicial office, and that email should not have been released. But that put me on to, we don't have a website. Let's create a website for Hood County. We have one for the Sheriff's Department, but not for Hood County, that says what you need to do, the form you need to fill out. Melissa has a form.
If we had a website, would that have stopped that email from leaking?
No.
Oh,
well, here's the policy. Judge Gillum should have been notified of this email that was going to be released. I was not. I would have said no.
We should correct that.
Yes, that's part of this. That's part of this whole process is getting policies and procedures in place, because when I talk to 3 different officials, I get 3 different answers. So I'm kind of confused. So let's all get on the same page, and that's why I hand you all the information. Everything is listed in the DPS PIO Open Records webpage.
We're not DPS.
No, but I had that in there. We can have a webpage that mimics DPS. We can have a webpage that mimics Sheriff Deed's webpage. His is specifically for the Sheriff's Department and that information. What I want is one for Hood County, and it just allows us a little bit more control over what is released and what is not released, and up to each individual office to go through and check the paper or redact it for public information, names, date of birth, driver's license number, any information of that nature. So we don't have rules and regulations in place written out that everyone goes by, sort of a checklist, if you will.
Anybody have any question or comment?
I'd like to hear from our county attorney. He's been involved in this. Help us out here, Mr. Mills. What all this about, and were you involved with it? And can you help untangle this thing?
Unfortunately, okay, what specific thing do you want to ask about?
What did we do wrong?
I don't know that we did anything wrong. As far as the one email that seems to be this point of contention, there was, to my knowledge, and Melissa can speak to this, there was a request that somebody asked for Constable Shirley's emails over a certain time period. There was an email between Constable Shirley and Doug Gillum about a subpoena, okay? And to my knowledge, that has never been released, okay? And that, John can speak to that. I mean, I said it should be released. He said it should not. And it's still in his office to my knowledge. I don't know if he's released it or not. But we did our redactions and all the other things that were agreed upon. And he said, I don't believe this should be sent out or whatever, and he can speak to that. I don't know if anybody else has gotten the email. I mean, sometimes stuff just leaks out without going through open records. But to my knowledge, that email has not been released to anybody. Melissa, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I don't know where that came from, if that was a leak, but that didn't come through Public Information Act channels.
Okay, so.
But I was never notified that that email was requested.
Well, let me just bring up, and that just made me think, I'm sorry. Let's just say hypothetically somebody says a request, they want all emails pertaining to this fiscal year's budget request, okay, for this next budget we're going through. Well, there could be, you know, dozen different elected officials and department heads and whatever all shooting emails back and forth. Do we have to get all of them to check mark sending that out before we send it out? And how long does that take, and how difficult is that going to be? And let's say that you and I exchange an email, Commissioner, and I ask for something in my budget, and now we both have to sign off on it, and I say, yeah, it's okay to release, and you say, no, it's not. Now what? I mean, it really, for each thing that you try to solve, there's another set of problems.
True.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So
and if I've got a problem with that, I should go to the Attorney General and get myself an opinion. If you're doing something I don't like what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Okay, so, but that's not really your spot to go to the Attorney General and prove that you're doing the right thing, is it?
Well, we do, I mean, I don't usually, but the sheriff does with some regularity ask for Attorney General opinions on open records, usually pertaining to pending cases, right. Criminal cases. And so that is an avenue to pursue. I don't know that the system is all that broke, because every fix, and let me just give you some examples, every fix, people have a way around it. So let's say these voluminous requests that we get in, and this has happened a number of times. Let's say our cutoff is 200 pages or higher, we're going to bill you. Less than 200 pages, we're not going to bill you, okay? Well, somebody sends in a request, and it's 300 pages. Well, we tell the requester, hey, it's going to be a certain amount of money because it's 300 pages. It's over the 200. Okay, well, let me just have the 150. Okay, so we generate the 150 for free, and guess what? A week later, they say, let me have the other 150.
Yeah.
I mean, this is happening. And so, I mean, Drew's laughing, but I mean, he knows exactly. I mean, we had a meeting about this. And so, okay, what do you do with that? And what do you do with a number of ways that people kind of get around the walls that we erect, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not trying to control this conversation. Believe me, I'm not the expert on this. Sounds like you've dealt in a long time. You have, and I know that we set up for this court how to handle PIs. To Melissa, you, and Drew made him the public information officer so he could handle this stuff. now that you're involved in the Justice Center, I didn't even know we had that personally, that you're different than we are in the county.
Well, I just like a webpage.
Well, if you want to talk about a web page, I haven't got any problem talking about a web page. Let's just get right down to the charging. In our TAC book, it says the Attorney General's office has an online cost estimator calculator located at HTTPS on a long thing. So if you want to know how to charge these people, and I know you talked about that, do we charge them for 40 pages or how many hours you put in or you put in? But we can go to the Texas Attorney General's office and get his calculator on how to charge for this stuff, right?
Right.
So I just don't know. I don't know if we're trying to recreate something that we've already got, which is a TAC book, or are you saying we're not going by
No. It's not there for everyone to see and to use. If Drew or Melissa or I have to go to the TAC book every time, the fee schedule that DPS has on its site is that schedule.
Yeah.
Is that one right there?
Well, that's what they would do, not you. I think that's up to us to
Well,
make
so
sure we're charging correctly.
I'm trying to help them out. There's the webpage. Why should they shouldn't have to explain it to every person when if we have it on a webpage, that's part of this is have a little webpage, just like the sheriff. You go to the Hood County website, go to the Sheriff's Department, there's this PIO request. Go to the Hood County government site, the other side, and there's nothing there for public information requests. You contact Melissa, HR, and she has a form. And yes, and by the way, I never said broke. Anything was broke. I just said, I think we can make it better. And hopefully reduce work on Drew and Melissa, because I've called her numerous times, just me. So I'm sure they're inundated, I don't know, overwhelmed with some of this stuff. I just want to make it better and have a fee schedule on there so people can go by and you know, and you can also have for information from the JPs, County Court at Law or District Court, you know, you need to go to their courts to file their paperwork for their open records request.
Well, we've heard it. We've got two speakers on here, and our first speaker is Mr. Grant Wood. Thank you both very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Grant Wood.
Thank you, Judge Massengill, Commissioners. I came to speak out about item 10, changes to request for public information. To paraphrase Commissioner Eagle, who often says this, why are we doing this now? As a concerned citizen, I have to wonder why this is coming up at this time. There's a good quote, and he kind of paraphrased it for me, which is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this feels like a fix in search of a problem. It really sounds like a training issue. It's not like we have to create a whole new framework on how to handle these requests. It sounds like someone didn't get trained on how to handle them. So I'm going to refer back to the large code that I had to go and find on a website. Under Government Code Title V, Subtitle A, Chapter 552, Subchapter A, General Provisions, Section 522.001A. And I'm going to paraphrase that. The provisions of this chapter shall be liberally construed to implement this policy. That means broadly. We should have every opportunity as citizens of this county, as many opportunities as we can, to get information that we need. This court should be careful and thoughtful about instituting changes to this policy. I am personally against changes to the current policy, decreasing transparency, because I did hear the word, we need to control more, just come up. Any changes decreasing transparency and the ability of anyone in Hood County from assessing information about elected officials and the business communications within the operation of this government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. All right, Mr. Granick.
Rare concession to my justice of the peace. Creating websites seems like an efficient thing, and I agree with that. The other things are beyond my skill set, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Granick. Okay. Anybody else have any comment or question? Okay. If not, do I hear?
This is not a This is not a do something item, it's just a discussion.
Okay? Okay, good. All right, the next item then. Item number 11, discuss and take appropriate action to appoint a representative to the Western Region Solid Waste Capacity Policy Advisory Group. I think you're the one, since you wanted to do that.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
an
sir.
acronym.
This is with the North Texas Council of Governments. They're trying to set aside a policy advisory group, and what they're asking for is one representative from each county. There are 8 counties in this. It's Tarrant, Johnson, Wise, Parker, Hood, Somerville, Palo Pinto, and Erath. And in this area or in this group, they're looking for just setting up some discussion on how to deal with solid waste. Right now, in those 8 counties, there are only 3 landfills, and all of them are on the extreme eastern side. So what they're going to do is set up this policy advisory group with 8 voting members, 1 from each county, 7 voting members from small cities, medium cities, larger cities, and then 1 each from the 3 huge cities in this. And they have asked us to send a representative. I've talked to Mr. Head about this a little bit, and I think he'd be a good choice to send to this policy advisory group.
Anybody have any comment, question?
Is this more environmental or more development? What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think it's probably more developmental that it's
Either one of you,
looking at.
either one of you want to speak on that, Mrs. Environmental or Mr. Director of, what do you think?
I attended the Western Region Solid Waste meeting in February of 19. At that time, we had 5 years at the Weatherford landfill, 10 at Tarrant County. I have participated in the North Central Texas Council of Government Solid Waste programs, and I am scheduled Thursday to attend, do a virtual meeting with TCEQ.
You want to do it? Is this something that would be, in your?
It has to be, in my opinion. Yes, I agree with
Right, yeah, no, I mean, this is looking for a nomination on this. I was, that,
Our provider for the collection station is Waste Connections, and I have been working with Waste Connections for 12 years on this. Waste Connections in 19, they still had the option, or it had just closed for the Palo Pinto landfill that they were planning. It takes 1,200 acres to plan for a landfill when you're talking about the area, and it takes 10 years to get it set up. In this area, we are currently running out of places to take the bulk waste. And the cost to get it to the locations is fixing to go up dramatically. We currently have a contract with Waste Connections. I believe they're planning on going up the total extent that is allowed. And then at that time, they're probably going to want to send it out for bid so they can change our cost.
Yeah, and the one in Weatherford, they said in that meeting, is closed now. It is only a transfer station. It's no longer an active landfill in Weatherford, so.
The Glen Rose Transfer Station has stopped taking lots of items because the Weatherford landfill.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely running out of options on this, and that was,
We definitely
Need
have
to-
a problem that is going to probably take longer to come up with a solution than we actually have to set a new plant up.
Well, to her knowledge, it'd help if we could have 2 nominations, but no matter which way y'all go, we both work together, and I could advise her on the development part, or whichever way y'all want to go.
Yeah. Okay, it's kind of a hand-in-hand deal there, so yeah, it would be.
Both.
Yeah, it is. It is, yep. So.
Do I hear a motion to appoint a representative?
One of you feel
I
better.
move that we appoint joint representatives to the Western Region Solid Waste Capacity Policy Advisory Group, that being the head of environmental and the head of development.
Second.
Yeah, works for me.
We got a motion to appoint both the head of environmental and head of development to head up this representative to the Western Region Solid Waste Capacity Advisory Group. Any further discussion?
Second by Eagle.
Oh, yeah, second by Commissioner Eagle, sorry.
Does anybody know the rules, whether or not we can have more than one?
That's just one vote.
Pardon?
Yeah.
What's that? Okay. I mean, I just make sure we're,
It'd be good for, they're not going to kick you out anyway, Clint, so you can be there, so, anyway. So, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, the last item, discuss and consider execution of an assignment of claims to the Hood County Hospital District regarding health care costs and expenses paid to Lake Granbury Medical Center concerning Hood County Jail inmates treated at Lake Granbury Medical Center. You have looked at this assignment, have you not, Mr. Mills?
Yes, sir, and it was, I forget the lawyer's name, but it was drafted.
Dave Dickinson?
Yes, that's right. I mean, it was drafted by the lawyer that y'all have, I believe, hired in your capacity at the district. So, I mean, I read it, I didn't see any problems, but that's kind of the expert who actually drafted the thing, and that's his wheelhouse. So I would kind of defer to his expertise.
Right. Okay. All it is to say that Hood County paid the bills initially, and then Hood County Hospital District reimbursed Hood County. So for purposes of the lawsuit that's pending, we want to recover those monies if the lease agreement of 1996 allows this, is really what it is. So, any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
that's going to say, it's going to say, I'll try the motion to approve the assignment of claims to Hood County Hospital District regarding health care costs and expenses paid to Lake Granbury Medical Center concerning Hood County jail inmates treated at the Lake Granbury Medical Center.
Here a second.
Second.
A motion been made by Commissioner Cotton to execute the assignment of claims to Hood County Hospital District regarding health care costs and expenses paid to Lake Granbury Medical Center concerning Hood County jail inmates treated at Lake Granbury Medical Center, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And that
Judge, we
concludes.
got to go back to 9,
So
sorry.
we have to go back to agenda item number 9. I'm going to need a vote on where you would like me to put the $99. Becky and I discussed miscellaneous Fund 10. That's an option for you.
Miscellaneous revenue,
Yeah.
010, 3,900, 3,900.
3,700.
As to where you're going to deposit the
3,700.
money?
Yes.
I like 39.
It's 37.
What is it, fund what?
General fund, revenue, miscellaneous.
But anytime we accept money unlike that, we
Zero
need to have a
funds,
place to put it.
miscellaneous? Is that the title?
General fund, miscellaneous revenue.
So miscellaneous revenue, we have a Fund 10, which is a general fund, and then we have capital projects fund, which is Fund 55. But $99 would be general fund. But we need a vote for me to place that money in that fund.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second. And that motion has been made by Commissioner Cotton, second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank
Get the
you.
money.
Thank you.
Get the money. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.